Today, former President Trump facing a judge. The new decision from the courts overnight that will affect what we see and won't see in court.
And Campaign 2023, we're live getting you prepared for the spring election today with live interviews with both the Madison City Clerk's office and the Dane County Clerk coming up.
And we do have another alert day this week that'll be coming in later this afternoon and this evening, looking at some high winds, heavy rain, hail. Can't rule out a tornado. More details coming up.
Oh, you talk about a busy Tuesday, everybody. Yeah. I mean, we got potentially 3 lead stories today between Election Day, the Trump arraignment, and the risk for severe weather.
Yeah, we're going to start with Kelly Slifka. That severe weather mostly coming this evening, correct?
Yeah, it looks like now it's holding off a little bit later than what we were thinking maybe yesterday, but still going to have that threat for some severe weather. This afternoon, there's a couple of cells that may creep into our southern counties that we may have to watch, but it'll be mainly going into the evening hours after the rush hour. But all of southern Wisconsin, that highest threat south, some of these cells that come out of Illinois, can't rule out an isolated tornado for our southern counties. The rest of us, I think it's mainly going to be a high wind threat, but can't rule out some hail as well. So we have an enhanced risk from Madison down toward the Illinois border on a category or a scale of 1 to 5. That is a category 3. Slight risk to the south, north of there. Moderate risk. That's a category 4 risk down there toward Dubuque. So we are going to look at 2 rounds of some showers and storms rolling through. Some will come in late this morning, early this afternoon. Maybe an isolated cell. Southern counties could see a severe storm with that. But it's going to be mainly the late afternoon, evening storms that we'll have to watch out for. And then on the backside of the storm system, we're talking about some winds up to 50 miles per hour. So another alert day. So for 2 different reasons, we have 2 alert days the next couple of days. Right now we're in the 40s, 44 in Madison, 40 in the Dalles. Cooler up to the north while it's a little milder to the south. Traveling this morning, the roads are wet from overnight rains, but we don't have anything falling right now. Expecting some showers, maybe an isolated thunderstorm at the noon hour, but scattered storms will get going this evening, and we'll track those storms coming up in about 15 minutes.
Sounds good, Kelly. Thank you. Now to our team coverage of the spring elections.
Let's start with Josh Sprider. He's live in downtown Madison ahead of the polls opening in just about an hour here, Josh.
Yes, good morning. Under an hour now, 7 o'clock polls will be opening across the state of Wisconsin, and you have until 8 o'clock tonight to vote. 2 key races will be following, both the Madison mayor and that highly contested Supreme Court race here in Wisconsin. Let's bring in the experts this morning. Jim Burbick is with the Madison City Clerk's office, the deputy clerk. Jim, it feels like yesterday we were here talking to you with the previous election. Now we're back at it. How are you guys feeling going into today?
We're doing good. Given how high our early voting numbers, we expect that we're going to have a big turnout today, so we're excited and we hope everyone else turns out.
Yeah, how are those numbers looking so far? Because spring elections, sometimes you never know what to expect when it comes to the voter turnout. Obviously, there are a few races that are going to be pretty big here for the area.
Sure. For in-person absentee voting, we had record days and every day for an April election that doesn't have a presidential race on it. And we had about 18% of our turnout already just through absentee balloting.
What can folks expect if they're going out to the polls to vote in person today?
Sure. Everyone should bring their ID, their voter ID, driver's license, Wisconsin driver's license, Wisconsin state ID, military ID, tribal ID, something like that. If you're not registered yet, you can register on Election Day. So bring a utility bill, bank statement, current driver's license or state ID with your current address on them, and a couple other things you can bring if you need to.
I know safety and security is always the topic of discussion, especially with elections now. What are you guys doing to make sure that this is a safe and secure process?
Sure, it's the same process we always have, so we make sure that all the seals that we have on everything are nice and secure, so we can ensure that nothing's been tampered with before the election. We have everyone being vigilant and paying attention to what's going on around them. They're close in contact with us if we need anything. We've been working with MPD if we need to respond to anything. So everything's pretty safe and secure. Everyone can come out and vote safely.
Yeah, there's a lot of work that goes into this. It's not just wake up and you do this. There's a lot of people behind the scenes that help make this happen.
Definitely. Yeah, our election officials who help with all the in-person absentee voting. We have people who help with the mailing, getting the election equipment prepped and everything before the election day. So yeah, a lot of work goes into it. Everyone just sees the election day, but it's a big deal beforehand.
Best advice for those heading out to the polls today?
I would say just have everything ready that you need. Vote safely. I know the weather's not going to be great at some points today, but voting's from 7 a.m. to 8 p.m., so as long as you're in line by 8 p.m., you can still cast your ballot. And if you don't have your ID with you, you can always vote provisionally and get that to us after the fact up until Friday to get your vote cast.
And I know you've told us before, usually that after work rush hour is kind of the busiest time, so try to get in a little bit earlier today, too.
Correct.
All right, Jim, thank you so much. We appreciate your time this morning. Again, out here live, polls opening at 7 o'clock, so plenty of time to get out and vote today. Coming up at the top of our 6:30 half hour, we'll be speaking live with the Dane County clerk about what he's seeing going into today, guys.
All right, Josh Breider, thank you very much.
News 3 Now is making it easy as possible for you to get out to the polls today.
That starts with where to vote. Shane Hogan has more on the resources to help you out. Hey, Shane.
Hey, Leah, that's right. The easiest way for you to find your polling location on this election day is to head over to myvote.wi.gov. There you can very simply plug in your address and it will show you exactly where you should head to cast your vote today. If you live in the city of Madison, you can also use their website, again, by just entering your address to find your polling place. Now, this is very important because your polling location may have changed in the last year. So if you're voting for the first time or for the first time in a while, you want to make sure you're heading to the right location. You don't want to head out today and have to be told to turn around and head somewhere else. So for more information on your polling place and everything you need to know as you head out to vote this morning, you can head over to channel3000.com.
Very handy resource to have on a day like today. Shane Hogan, thanks a lot.
Meanwhile, spending on the high-stakes Wisconsin Supreme Court race is now at over $42 million. That's nearly tripled the previous national record for a court race. The winner of today's election between Democratic-backed Janet Protasewicz and Republican-backed Dan Kelly will determine the majority control of the court. Now, ahead of today's election, some people are calling a political campaign text ad poorly timed and a misuse of emergency sound. During last Friday's tornadoes and severe thunderstorms across Wisconsin, some voters received a text message that looked and sounded a lot like an emergency alert. It was actually a political ad video from the Republican Party of Wisconsin and the Friends of Justice Daniel Kelly. Now, we can't play the sound they use because it's too similar to the emergency attention signal you hear during severe weather.
People were paying attention because they thought we need to learn something to do to keep ourselves safe. And then if what they're learning is a politician is trying to get me to vote for them, I think that is likely to backfire.
The Republican Party of Wisconsin says the texts had been scheduled for days, adding in a statement to News 3, quote, Democrats should knock off the fake outrage and stop trying to stifle free speech. According to FCC rules, no one is allowed to transmit or simulate an emergency signal for anything other than an emergency.
Now to our third big story of the day as we take a live look at Trump Tower this morning, where the former president will be leaving to head for his arraignment today. And new information this morning, the judge in the case will not allow cameras to broadcast his court appearance. Instead, 5 still photographers will be allowed to take pictures of Trump and the courtroom before the hearing starts. Trump will likely be charged with falsifying business records in the first degree, which is a felony. It's all related, of course, to his alleged role in hush money payments to adult film star Stormy Daniels in 2016.
It's kind of the bread and butter of what the DA's office does. It's the way in which Manhattan prosecutors have historically held those in power responsible for their acts.
Something else to watch out for today. New York City's mayor warning against potential protests. The arraignment is scheduled to start at 1:15 our time. CBS News will carry this as a special report today when the events do start playing out. We do know the former president plans a news conference when he returns to Mar-a-Lago later today, and the Manhattan District Attorney Alvin Bragg will also speak following the court proceedings.
More local news now. The 2 men charged in connection with the deadly shooting on the city's west side last month have now been charged. Online court records showed the alleged shooter, 30-year-old Charles Washington White, faces several charges, including first-degree intentional homicide. He's currently being held on $1 million bond. Meanwhile, 30-year-old Jarvirus Davis also facing charges, including harboring or aiding a felon. He's in jail on a $50,000 bond. Now, this shooting happened outside of an apartment on Tree Lane in broad daylight. Authorities have not yet identified the 39-year-old victim.
Hurley and the Huskies have their dreams come true.
UConn is the last team standing in men's college basketball. The Huskies beat San Diego State 76-59 last night here on CBS. It's UConn's 5th title. Here's head coach Dan Hurley after the game.
This was our vision. This was our dream. This is what we talked about when we recruited these guys, that we could get together and do something big like this.
And take a look at this new video from overnight. Rowdy fans on UConn's campus. Local media reporting fans took down lampposts, smashed out windows, and tipped over a van. we've been checking and haven't seen any new information about injuries or arrests. And just a reminder of our News 3 Now bracket battle. Josh Spreiter and I took second among the news anchors in the sports team. Zach Hanley, who gets paid to watch sports, by the way.
True.
Beat us all out with 49 points. Folks, we all did terribly. Don't be mistaken. Every one of our teams we had our bracket busted early.
I'm disappointed in Frankie, but they decided to have Marquette go all the way, you said?
Yeah,
Charlotte de Leste, obviously alum.
Did you fill out a bracket this year? You're too busy with the
I helped Zach with what little sort of talk I heard on ESPN. I said, Marquette go fairly far.
Oh, yeah?
Who else did we have? We had Kansas going fairly far. We didn't do very well either.
Yeah, I think a lot of people are feeling the same way this morning.
Ooh.
Well, congratulations to the Huskies for winning the national championship.
Okay, it's 6:10 now. Coming up, we have an update on the school shooting in Nashville, how lawmakers are pushing to make schools safer.
And a really cool story coming up a little later in sports. A local caterer, the trip of a lifetime for any golf fan. We're going to hear from her coming up.
Save big on quality Smith Brothers furniture at Wanakee Furniture ETC, the #1 Smith Brothers dealer in the nation. That's right, per square footage, we sell more Smith Brothers than anyone else. So let our design experts customize a look for you during the Smith Brothers factory authorized sale at Wanakee Furniture ETC.
Your family's year-round comfort is our year-round commitment at RG Heating and Air Conditioning. We install quality Trane equipment and service all brands so your home's furnace and AC will perform their best year-round. RG Heating and AC.
There were severe health complications with my baby when I was pregnant. We made the decision to have an abortion so our daughter wouldn't suffer. Dan Kelly doesn't believe that women should even have that freedom. On the Supreme Court, Dan Kelly will uphold the criminal ban on abortion. Someone you love might struggle with a pregnancy like I did. And that's why we can't have an extremist like Dan Kelly on the Supreme Court.
To everyone who believes in tradition, come enjoy a few of ours from Wisconsin.
People in Wisconsin love a good fish fry.
Really love. And we love sharing it with guests everywhere.
At Culver's, we still batter our North Atlantic cod by hand to order.
And we cook it to a crispy, golden perfection just for you.
For you.
For you.
So it's crispy outside, flaky inside. Let us take care of you.
With some homegrown traditions we were raised on.
From Wisconsin with love.
Welcome to Delicious.
And now please welcome Anna Montoya.
Hello there, fellow students.
Some old cowboys said if you climb in a saddle, you best be ready for the ride. I think that old cowboy was talking about the Midwest Horse Fair coming to Madison, Wisconsin, April 14th through the 16th. You best saddle up for a little family time with hundreds of horses, English, Western, and a big old rodeo. Hundreds of shopping vendors, and fill your belly with some of the tastiest food in the Midwest. Get your tickets before they're gone. Visit MidwestHorseFair.com.
Very loud. It sounds like a bull running through a china shop. I don't know what else to say.
People don't realize how nice a door can run until they get it serviced. It's whisper quiet. Your neighbors will thank you.
Precision Door Service, a name you can trust.
You already know Dan Kelly worked for a radical anti-abortion group, and on the court could uphold Wisconsin's 1849 abortion ban with no exceptions for rape or incest. Here's what you didn't know. Kelly opposed background checks on all gun sales and even wrote the court decision making it easier for dangerous people to carry guns in public, banning abortion, putting our communities at risk. Dan Kelly is too extreme for our Supreme Court.
At RG Heating and Air Conditioning, our promise to you is 100% satisfaction guaranteed. Guaranteed service, repairs, and replacements. Installing quality Trane equipment. RG Heating and AC. We'll always treat you like family. Guaranteed.
Save big on quality Smith Brothers furniture at Wanakee Furniture ETC, the #1 Smith Brothers dealer in the nation. That's right, per square footage, we sell more Smith Brothers than anyone else. So let our design experts customize a look for you during the Smith Brothers factory authorized sale at Wanakee Furniture ETC.
You're watching News 3 Now this morning.
Welcome back. We're following some breaking news from overnight. The U.S. military says a senior member of ISIS is dead after a drone strike in Syria. A statement from the military identifies the man as Khalid Ayed Ahmad al-Jabouri, adding that his death, quote, will temporarily disrupt the organization's ability to plot attacks. The strike is the latest in a series of attacks over the past couple of years. They've all been targeting al-Qaeda-linked militants and senior ISIS members.
Students in Tennessee demanding more from lawmakers this morning, a week after a shooter took the lives of 3 children and 3 adults. Hundreds gathering at the state capitol Monday on the topic. Tennessee Governor Bill Lee is now expanding his school safety plan, but not by adding gun restrictions. It would instead provide armed guards, enhance security, and boost mental health resources, along with adding requirements for locking school doors and active shooter training for private guards. Students say they want to see stricter laws on guns in the state.
All right, it's 6:15. Let's turn it over to Kelly Slifka now with that alert day forecast.
Yeah, another week and another threat for some severe weather. This has a very similar situation like we saw last Friday when had all those tornado reports, killer tornadoes in Arkansas and Missouri, Iowa, parts of Illinois as well. Moderate risk of severe weather, so on a scale of 1 to 5, that's a category 4. It extends northward into Madison, an enhanced risk of severe weather, so on a scale of 1 to 5, that's a 3. North of the area, north of Dane County, that is a slight risk of severe weather. This is mainly going to be coming this evening now as we kind of focus in on what we can expect, what kind of severe weather we can expect. It looks like the tornado threat, you see this hashed area, that's about a 15% chance of seeing a tornado within a 25-mile point. So anywhere down toward Platteville, Monroe, Dubuque, looks like the better chances down to the south. Now, as far as large hail, there's about a 30% chance, you see this hatched area, within any given point of 25 miles, there is a 30% chance of seeing some hail. So it looks like hail will be the main threat for most of us going into the evening hours. That'll be early this evening. Therefore, we do have the first warn alert day for southern Wisconsin. As you get toward the Illinois border, that's where we're going to have to watch out for some of these isolated tornadoes. All of us have a chance to see some high winds and hail, and that'll be mainly isolated this afternoon, more widespread, it looks like, going into the evening hours. In the meantime, we'll have a round of some showers roll in later this morning into the early afternoon hours. May have to watch a couple of these cells come out of Illinois, moving into parts of southern Wisconsin. Some of those could produce some hail, maybe some severe weather early on. That should move on out. Then I think most of the rest of the afternoon, fairly quiet, maybe a little bit of rain moving in. But it's this storm system that's going to be lifting to the north. It's going to pull this warm front into southern Wisconsin. That's what's going to trigger the severe weather threat going into the evening hours. We'll time it out here, 7 o'clock. I know the polls are still open, but going to have to keep an eye to the sky. Don't want to be caught in a line as you're headed off to vote, because we are expecting some strong to severe storms. You can see some of these isolated reds showing up on the radar. That'll continue through the late evening hours before midnight and then start to lift to the north. And you notice our temperatures actually climb into the 60s as that warm front pushes through. Then we're talking about some strong winds on the backside of this storm. Could be gusting up to 50 miles per hour tomorrow afternoon. So an active couple of days for us, but it looks like over the next several days, we're actually going to see some quieter weather. Cools down Thursday into Friday. We warm into the 60s this weekend. Easter may bring in some showers or thunderstorms. Next week looks dry and also warmer. 70s return by Wednesday and Thursday.
Addie Lupton did something on Sunday a select few only get to do. Play golf at Augusta National. The 9-year-old Waunakee native qualifying for the drive, chip, and putt national finals, finishing tied for 8th. I caught up with her before she left and found out what's really driving her on the course. As soon as she could swing a golf club.
Probably only 3 or 4. We bought her just a really short putter, and we took her to a little putting green around the neighborhood.
Addie Lupton fell in love with the game.
I love golf. It's the best sport ever.
And since then, she hasn't put her clubs down.
Sometimes she'll just come practice and chip and putt on the practice green for 2 hours, and I'll come get her, and she'll be like, oh, I could play more. So always never have to drag her out to the golf course. She's always the one dragging me out to the golf course.
That drive to play.
Yeah, I want to be a pro.
Sent her to this year's Drive, Chip, and Putt National Finals.
I was so excited, and I was like happy crying.
At the home of the Masters, Augusta National.
To be able to go to Augusta and hit a shot in competition, there's not a lot of people that can say they've done that. So to be able to do that at 9 years old it's a pretty big accomplishment.
But the best part of playing golf for Addie,
because I could do it with my dad,
is spending time with her caddy for life, her dad.
It's fun watching her grow, not just from the golf aspect, but as well as just how to deal with adversity and dealing with pressure and really kind of putting all that hard work she does to a goal and achieving those goals. It's just really neat to see as a parent.
The Mike Hastings era is officially underway on the ice for the Badger men's hockey program. Wisconsin introduced Hastings this afternoon, and he made it clear that he's thankful for his time and all the success he's had at Minnesota State. But now he's focused on building this program back up.
I've talked about history. It's important you understand it. It's what's helped us get here as a family. So very appreciative and understand that that's going to be a chapter that'll never be erased. It's one that I'm very prideful, but it's also one that is history. And as we ask our players to do every day, you know, turn the page and we've got to go and write a new chapter. And that's what we hope to do here.
Back to you.
Thanks, Zach. Coming up next, we have some viewer mail to share.
And ahead in our next half hour, we'll make sure you're ready to head to the polls for the spring elections in just about half an hour. Stay with us.
News 3 Now's first warned weather team, keeping you ahead of the storms.
Cobison Buses, now hiring.
My name's Mike Williams. I've been driving school bus off and on for 21 years. Here at our terminal, we're kind of like a family too. Somebody has an issue with a bus, other people kick in and help and get the job done.
On abortion rights, do you want extremist Dan Kelly holding the gavel? Kelly wants abortion banned even in cases of rape, incest, and the health of the mother. He'll uphold the 1849 criminal abortion law that allows doctors and nurses to be jailed for performing abortions. And he'll strip women of their freedom to make their own decision on abortion. So don't give Dan Kelly a gavel with your vote. He's just too extreme.
Happy Take and Bake Tuesday!
Every Tuesday at Papa Murphy's, you can get any large pizza for just $10.99, which makes Tuesday the best day to bring home all your favorites.
We might have too many favorites.
Do you guys have a favorite child?
I have a favorite son.
It's me, right?
At Papa Murphy's, we make great pizza, so you can make the pizza great. Order now at papamurphys.com.
Experience does count. When you're shopping for new furniture, a mattress set, or flooring, come to the experts at McGann Furniture and Flooring in Baraboo. Our experienced staff is well-trained in home decorating and will answer all your questions so you can buy with confidence. You'll find big city selection and an enjoyable shopping experience. And remember, we don't raise prices only to lower them later for a sale. Come see the difference experience can make at McGann Furniture and Flooring, downtown Baraboo.
A teenager with the mental capacity of a 6-year-old, tricked by a predator on Facebook using a fake name, who then sexually assaulted her. It was pure evil. If Judge Janet Protasewicz was to ever take a stand for a victim, this was the time, and this was the victim. But she failed, again, placing the man on probation with a measly 60 days in the local jail. Tell Janet Protasewicz, stop letting predators off easy.
Could you keep it down? Oh, hey, sorry. I can't stop these kids from rocking, but I can help you replace all this.
Rock on!
With free installation on Felco windows, siding, doors, and roofing, plus no money down, no payments, and no interest for 1 year. There's never been a better time to upgrade your home. This offer won't last long. Hurry. Call now.
For quality windows, siding, and doors, call 866 for Felco.
Soon you'll head to the polls to decide the balance of the Supreme Court. The choice is clear: an extremist or a common-sense judge, Judge Janet Protasewicz. She'll protect our rights and our freedoms. She'll be fair, impartial, and independent. Judge Janet Protasewicz believes in women's freedom to make their own decisions when it comes to abortion.
I'm Judge Janet Protasewicz, and I'm asking for your vote by April 4th.
Cobison Buses, now hiring.
Working with Cobison, it's definitely been great because of the flexibility. If you do need time off, they work around you. They definitely try to make it a company that's based for you.
Visit Cobison.com to apply.
Welcome back. We always ask you to share your morning with us. KCG coming in hot with the farm pick. You know I love them.
It's a great shot.
It's gorgeous.
Really, I love the silhouette there of the empty silos. We did not get a bird picture today. We get a lot of bird pictures this time of year.
You love bird pictures.
Because the birds are back. And I wanted to share a viewer letter with everybody that I got recently. From Lori, who writes, I watch your morning news program daily, and you all do a great job. However, everyone seems a bit challenged when it comes to identifying birds in photos or news stories, especially Chris Stanford.
You try hard.
You know what? Lori came through with a little aid, a little visual aid for us. She sent this, which is a backyard guide to birds of the Midwest.
How sweet.
Isn't that nice? There are so many birds on here that I will now study so I don't make a buffoon of myself on a daily basis.
I want to quiz you a little bit. Can I try?
Oh, goodness, no.
Don't look now, you're cheating. Just a couple, just a couple.
Just
a couple.
One, we actually had this one on.
Which one?
This one. No.
You want me to?
This one.
This one?
Yep.
Okay, so what does a red-winged blackbird look like?
No, you're supposed to show them the picture.
Kelly, he's gonna guess that one.
No, if you guys remember, I confused. Can you zoom in? Okay, here we go. So I confused a red-winged blackbird for an oriole the other day.
And they look nothing alike.
And I caught a lot of you-know-what for that.
That is tough.
So anyway, thank you, Lori, for the visual aid. We have some severe weather to look out for tonight.
Yeah, not until this evening. We are looking at some showers and thunderstorms that'll fire up. Maybe see a round move in this afternoon, but it will be later this evening. We'll talk more about that coming up on the other side.
All right, stay with us, folks. We'll be right back.
News 3 Now First Warn Weather is brought to you by Lazy Boy Home Furnishings and Decor.
Discover a shopping and design experience as comfortable as the furniture. Lazy Boy Home Furnishings and Decor. Schedule your free design consultation today.
At Pick and Save, we want our fresh produce to meet your expectations, which is why we do up to a 27-point inspection to check for things like color and scarring. Because when it comes to fresh, higher standards mean fresher produce. Pick and Save, fresh for everyone.
I'm going for Judge Janet
Protestowitz?
You don't need to know how to say Protestowitz to know that Judge Janet believes in abortion rights, fairness, and public safety.
Protestowitz.
Mad City, a division of Renewity, the local service you deserve, now backed by unmatched national strength. We are Wisconsin's #1 remodeler. And now we're looking for 50 homeowners who need new windows. Receive special savings on new Eco Sky windows featuring Sky Mirror technology. And with Mad City's price lock guarantee, once you receive a free design consultation, we'll lock your price in and guarantee it for 1 year. Be one of 50 homeowners who call now and receive free installation on a house full of new windows with no interest and no payments until 2025. Senior military discounts plus call during this program and receive a free $50 Amazon gift card with your in-home estimate. Ask about Mad City's Do More discount on baths, showers, or cabinet refacing. Mad City, a division of Renewity, the local service you deserve, now backed by unmatched national strength.
We had Mad City to do some work for us in the past, and we liked the work that they did for us, so we were satisfied.
Mad City is A+ rated with the BBB, more than 50,000 satisfied customers, and now we're looking for 50 homeowners who need new windows. Check out our Eco Sky windows, beautiful custom fit Energy Star rated windows, styles including bay, bow, double hung, and sliders. Call Mad City Windows now. The first 50 homeowners will save with free installation on a house full of new windows. With no interest and no payments till 2025, senior military discounts, plus call during this program for a free $50 Amazon gift card with your free in-home estimate. From Madison throughout South Central Wisconsin, call with zip code and location to qualify. 608-338-1616, 608-338-1616.
Spring for new floors now and save. Spring brings sunshine and muddy paws. You'll find our durable, easy care floors look beautiful too. On sale now at H&R Carpets and Flooring in Wanakee.
2 for $7. Every day, a classic, a favorite, and Arby's legend. 2 of those things for just $7. Arby's, we have the meat.
Extremist Dan Kelly wants abortion banned, even in cases of rape and the health of the mother. Kelly will uphold Wisconsin's 1849 abortion ban that strips women of their freedom to make personal decisions on abortion.
When your door is always open, so is the fridge. At Pick and Save, however you shop, in-store, pickup, or delivery, you get the same great prices, deals, and rewards. That's a win-win-win. Pick and Save, fresh for everyone.
Today, voters will decide the balance of the state Supreme Court. We have team coverage of the spring elections.
And the eyes of the nation will be fixed on Manhattan this morning as Donald Trump is arraigned on criminal charges. What we can expect when he faces the judge.
And we have an enhanced risk of severe weather for the Madison area later this afternoon through tonight. We'll talk more about that coming up.
Good Tuesday morning, everybody. Welcome to News 3 Now this morning on your election day. I'm Leah Lynchide.
I'm Chris Stanford. Kelly Slifka with your first warn weather. We have three big stories of the day that are all converging.
Yes.
And the severe weather risk with the spring elections.
They're kind of intertwined.
Yeah, they are, because people are probably going to want to head to the polls earlier today because of the risk later tonight.
Earlier better than later, for sure. After work, that's when we're going to talk about the storm starting to move in. So we do have that severe weather threat. We can't rule out an isolated cell that moves in early this afternoon, especially our southern counties that may become severe, but it'll be very isolated. I think the main event's going to come in this evening. And mainly for our southern counties up toward Madison, enhanced risks of severe weather. North of there, a slight risk. And even a moderate risk. This looks very similar to what we had last Friday. Therefore, we do have the first warn alert day for southern Wisconsin, the highest threat to the south. I think the isolated tornadoes are going to be mainly near the Illinois border, but we can't rule those out going into the evening. High winds and hail for the rest of us, it looks like, going into the evening hours, and some heavy rainfall again. So we're going to have 2 rounds of some rain and some storms rolling in. One early this afternoon. Once again, mainly just some rain moving in, maybe a couple of thunderstorms, but it'll be mainly later this afternoon into this evening when we'll see some severe weather moving in. Then we're talking about some strong winds, that another alert day tomorrow, because some of these winds up to 50 miles per hour could be causing some damage to some of the trees, and any high-profile vehicle driving about will have to be on the lookout for that. Right now, Doppler track pretty quiet this morning. We're in the 40s, 44 currently in Madison. So if you are headed out to the polls, try to do it this morning. It's just cloudy this morning. We're in the 40s. It is going to be windy throughout the day. At the noon hour, we are expecting some showers to move through. It won't be until those close, just about ready to close here between 7 and 8 o'clock, that we'll look at some stronger storms. As temperatures warm in the 50s, we'll track those storms in more detail coming up in a bit.
All right, talk to you then, Kelly. To our team coverage now of the spring elections as polls open in less than 30 minutes.
Josh Breider is live in downtown Madison ahead of that opening. Good morning, Josh.
Hey guys, good morning. Yeah, polls open at 7 o'clock across the state of Wisconsin, and that weather forecast is something local elections officials will be monitoring throughout the day to see if that's going to impact voting at all. We've got Scott McDonald live with us this morning, of course, the Dane County clerk, and that weather forecast is looking a little bit dicey, but you guys are prepared and kind of monitoring this by the hour throughout the day.
Yeah, we'll have an update at noon from emergency management. We're tracking this wind here is the weather from the south, so we could see tornadoes later in the day potentially, so that's something we have to prepare for.
How is that an impact for what you guys are trying to be doing? Because obviously if people can't get to the polls, that's a big deal.
Yeah, if you can't access the polls, then typically what will happen is we'll extend the hours. We'll have to ask the judge to extend the hours so that the polls will close maybe a half hour, an hour later, depending on the situation. Now, if the weather system just comes through quickly and it's a 15, 20-minute problem, then probably not going to extend the hours, but you just got to get in line and make sure you'll be able to vote at the end of the day. I would recommend for everybody, vote before dinner. That's when it looks like the real weather will hit, is around dinner time.
How are things looking right now as far as early voting numbers? Because, you know, and obviously these days we're seeing more and more people coming out and voting.
Yeah, the early voting numbers are high, you know, depending on the municipality. We're going to break a record today in turnout overall. But what I've seen is a shift toward people voting early in person in the clerk's office, or you know, in libraries in Madison, but in the clerk's office, and voting on election day, and a reduction in people mailing in their ballots.
As far as like the safety and security, I know that's a topic of discussion now in our elections. You know, what are you guys doing at the clerk's office to make sure that this is a safe and secure process? this?
Yeah, we've really involved the sheriff's office, local law enforcement, in training on how they should handle situations at the polling place. They've been receptive to that. We've had sheriffs checking in on the polling places out in places where it could be like a 20-minute response time, things like that. I feel like right now we're in a much better place. The clerks know what to look for. They've gotten additional training on de-escalation. The police kind of know how to handle it, and there's been just the temperatures come down a little bit, especially for a spring election. I don't think that's going to be our issue today. Our issue today is going to be the weather.
Which is kind of a minor issue when you think of it, I guess.
I don't know. Well, tornadoes, you know.
Well, yes.
I don't want people to end up voting in Kansas, you know, so.
We don't want that.
No.
So best advice, get out early and make sure you have what you need at the polls, too.
Yeah, you need a driver's license, Wisconsin driver's license, or another ID. For almost everybody, it's going to be that. And if you need to register the polls, bring something with your address on it. And it can be on your phone, but like a bank statement, a lease, a utility bill, so that you can register on election day. So you can vote today even if you're not registered.
All right, Scott, thank you so much. Boy, that wind already this morning, it's whipping. So hopefully we'll have a smooth day out here. As always, we appreciate your time. Of course, we have all this information up on channel3000.com as well, guys. Polls open at 7 o'clock this morning. They're open until 8 o'clock tonight.
All right, Josh Breider live downtown with the city clerk. Thanks a lot, Josh. All right, and we are making sure that you have everything you need to get to the polls to vote today.
Shane Hogan is here with what to bring in case you need to register. Hey, Shane.
Hey, that's right, Leah. If you aren't registered at your current address yet, that is okay. You can still do it today in person when you cast your ballot, but you do need to prove your residency. You just heard it from Scott McDonald just a second ago. So here are a couple ways that you can do that. The same ID that you used to vote can also count as your document for registration. That includes your Wisconsin driver's license, a U.S. passport, or a campus-issued college ID card. You can also use a utility bill, credit card bill, or a bank stub. Now, you've heard a lot of information this morning on getting to the polls, how to get to the polls. We have everything spelled out for you over on channel3000.com, a really good resource for all the rules and requirements you need to cast your ballot today, plus information on almost 100 races that we're going to be following today, and of course, having the results tomorrow morning here on News 3 Now this morning as well. But again, a lot of information, so if you need another little update before you head out this morning, head over to channel3000.com.
I mean, you heard Scott McDonald, the county clerk, talk about how he anticipates turnout to be really high today, especially because of the
record-breaking. That's what he said, right? Yeah.
So I have a feeling we're going to see a lot of new voters today, people who don't normally vote because of the issues that are driving them to the polls. So this information is going to come in really handy if it has been a while, or maybe it's the first time that you are casting your ballot today. So again, the website and everything you need to know should come in really handy today. Shane Hogan, really good information. Thank you.
Thanks, Shane. Now, because of that alert day in the forecast, we've been talking about it all day, we might see an impact on who turns out at the polls. Madison's deputy clerk says traditionally, the worse the weather, the lower the turnout, though we just heard Scott McDonald talk about that record potential. There are plans in place, though, if storms become a problem today.
If for whatever reason there's a situation in which a polling place would have to close because of a tornado or something like that, we would seek a situation in which we would go to administrative law judge to have voting expanded.
Stick with News 3 Now, on air all day today as we follow news out of the polls and the results tonight as they come in.
And this is a great time to get the News 3 Now mobile app. If you don't have it, make sure you turn on those push alerts. And you can follow along with nearly 100 different local elections as the votes come in this evening. Now to another big story today. A live look at Trump Tower this morning as former President Donald Trump awaits his arraignment today. The Manhattan Criminal Courthouse, about 4 miles away from Trump Tower, where the former president and current presidential candidate will face a judge for arraignment at 1:15 our time this afternoon. During the arraignment, here's what we know. The indictment will be unsealed. The charges read aloud, but Trump can request to waive the reading. Then he'll be asked to answer guilty or not guilty to the charges. And we knew not too much about how this was going to be covered before last night. New information overnight says that the judge is going to let 5 press photographers take pictures in the courthouse before the proceeding gets going, but not allowing video. Cameras, however, will be allowed in the halls of the courthouse. We also know that Trump will not be held in a cell, as New York bail laws do not require bail in cases like this. We'll post updates, and CBS News will have a special report as soon as things start to pick up. in Manhattan this morning.
To you, everybody in the college game, my CBS family, my family, all the viewers, thank you for being my friend.
A lot of emotions, and not just for the players during the NCAA tournament last night. UConn going home with the win over San Diego State, 76-59. And broadcaster Jim Nantz stepping away from the men's basketball tournament mic for the final time. Nantz has been on the air for the last 32 years calling the tournament. He will still be calling NFL games and the Masters golf tournament.
Yeah, I don't think people understand how hard that job is. That is such a tough job to be that well-liked for that long.
3 decades.
I mean, because what are the first thing that people want to do, fans at home, they don't hear something they like about their team.
They want to complain about it.
They want to complain about the announcers. And Jim Nantz has been a class act through and through for more than 3 decades. He gets a Masters performance this weekend.
Yeah, we're not losing him.
Yeah. He'll be missed, though, for March Madness.
Congrats to him, though. Big milestone.
I know. He deserves some time off.
That's true.
He deserves some more time off. All right, another big story this morning. The University of Wisconsin-Platteville and law enforcement working to determine if a threat against the campus is credible. University officials in an email said that they are aware of an alleged threat to the main campus, specifically Dudna Hall. University police, the dean of students, the behavioral review and recommendation team are all looking into it. At this point, the university is going to follow protocol and hold classes as scheduled today.
Happening today, a Whitewater mother accused of leaving her baby in a field is due in court for her preliminary hearing. Santos Asuna Caceres Cruz faces 2 felonies in the case. She told investigators the baby was having trouble breathing when it was born back in January. She says she didn't call 911 because she didn't want her other children to find out she was pregnant. The hearing is scheduled for 9 this morning.
An update on the last round of severe weather to rip through southern Wisconsin. The National Weather Service has now confirmed 9 more tornadoes from Friday's storms. That brings the total so far to 12. There's another damage survey being conducted today in Iowa County, so we could see the total rise yet again. For a list of where all the tornadoes have touched down, check channel3000.com.
The Milwaukee Bucks are back in the playoffs for the 7th straight season, and they're also on the verge of locking in a #1 seed. The Bucks are guaranteed home court advantage in the first round. Tickets for those games go on sale today at noon. We have a link for you to get them. That's up on channel3000.com.
Is it going to be Bucks in 6 again this year?
Or better.
Yeah, I was going to say maybe Bucks in 4.
Sure,
Sweet.
I'll take it.
We can all hope, right? All right, let's take a look outside this morning. We are tracking the risk of severe weather. It's an alert day. Kelly's going to time out those storms and break down the biggest threats.
My experience going to Ortho Teen was a 10. It was phenomenal. My life now, after having the conformist knee, I have no pain. I'm walking, I'm driving. I can go to work. I feel like I could be in my 20s again.
I'm voting for Gloria because she's committed rebuilding State Street.
I'm voting for Gloria because she will invest in nonprofits, entrepreneurs, and small businesses.
I believe in Gloria because she supports body cameras for our police officers, promoting safety, accountability, and trust.
I have been drafted to run for Madison mayor because people know that I care about our city. Vote Gloria Reyes on April 4th. Let's move Madison forward together.
Reviews are very important. It really reflects on how we're handling customers at Precision Door. It's feeling like I'm helping out my neighbor. Quality service quickly from a name you can trust.
Precision Door Service, a name you can trust.
For 75 years, DePaco has been more than local. It's a member-owned, not-for-profit cooperative that has grown into a vital community resource, a place where members can build a life worth loving. When you join DePaco, you own it. Your money stays here, enriching the lives of your friends and neighbors. DePaco strives to carry out the mission envisioned by the 10 meatpacking employees who founded it, to create a brighter community for all. To learn more about DePaco and how to become a member, go to depaco.com/join.
For over 50 years, Purina Cat Chow has been helping cats feel at home with trusted nutrition. No wonder it's the #1 dry cat food in America. Come home to Cat Chow.
Soon you'll head to the polls to decide the balance of the Supreme Court. The choice is clear: an extremist or a common-sense judge, Judge Janet Protasewicz. She'll protect our rights and our freedoms. She'll be fair, impartial, and independent. Judge Janet Protasewicz believes in women's freedom to make their own decisions when it comes to abortion.
I'm Judge Janet Protasewicz, and I'm asking for your vote by April 4th.
My experience going to Ortho Teen was a 10. It was phenomenal. My life now, after having the conformist knee, I have no pain. I'm walking, I'm driving. I can go to work. I feel like I could be in my 20s again.
A toddler sexually assaulted and a Poynette mother crying out for justice.
I'm terrified to see his name again next to another little girl's name.
In a News 3 Now investigation, Catherine Merck looks into why the perpetrator didn't make the sex offender registry. Thursday at 6. News 3 Now First Warn Weather. When severe weather is on the way, find out first with Madison's certified most accurate forecast. Trust our team to keep you informed before, during, and after. First Warn Weather, keeping you safe and ahead of the storms. You're watching News 3 Now this morning.
Welcome back. Meteorologist Kelly Slifka keeping an eye on that alert day forecast.
Yeah, you know, it's another week and it is another alert day. We've dealt with them basically weekly since the 1st of February, and here we're in April. We've kind of transitioned now from the winter's type situation to more severe weather. Looks like the highest threat will be south of Madison. Can't rule out an isolated tornado. For the rest of us, it's going to be mainly some high winds and hail. Now this afternoon, we can't rule out an isolated storm rolling through. As we go in the early afternoon, we're actually going to see 2 rounds roll through, but it's mainly just going to be some rain toward the noon hour early this afternoon. It looks like more numerous storms tonight, and that's where the threat starts to go up. So showers and a few thunderstorms this afternoon. Once again, these are going to be a little bit more isolated, but the highest severe weather threat is going to be after the dinner hour, 6 o'clock, up until about midnight. Then I think a lot of that threat is going to be diminishing. A main threat for most of us, hail and high winds. Isolated tornadoes, especially areas to the south as you get toward the Illinois border. Some of these storms that come out of Illinois do have the potential of producing a tornado, and they could reach southern Wisconsin. Meantime, this morning, if you are going to go out and vote, try to get it done now because it should be dry. It's going to be fairly windy, temperatures in the 40s. By the noon hour, we'll see that first round of some showers. Isolated storms coming in, and once again, we'll have to watch some of these cells that come out of Illinois. It'd be very isolated, though, early this afternoon. Then I think we'll get generally a drier pattern setting up for the later afternoon hours, but after the dinner hours get closer to 7 o'clock, we're going to see the chance of severe weather go up, and that's why we do have an enhanced risk of severe weather here in southern Wisconsin from Madison down toward the Illinois border. Iowa, northwestern Illinois, again under a moderate risk of severe weather where we could see some isolated tornadoes. So as we get to the 7 o'clock hour, we'll watch some of those storms fire up. You see these deep reds indicating some hail, some gusty winds coming out of some of these storms. Can't rule out an isolated tornado. After about midnight or so, a lot of that will start to lift to our north. Then a cold front will arrive by tomorrow morning, may trigger an isolated shower waking up tomorrow morning, and then the winds will pick up out of the west, and on the backside of it, we're going to see some wind gusts up to 50 miles per hour. So another alert day for tomorrow. That high tomorrow will be 64. That'll be early in the morning, and then those temperatures will drop with west winds at 20 to 35 miles per hour, sustain some gusts up to 50. Cools down briefly Thursday into Friday. Warmer weather this weekend. We've got Easter Sunday, maybe a couple of showers, isolated storms, but you notice the weather trend now looks a lot drier, a lot quieter, and also warmer going into next week.
All right, Kelly Slifka, thank you very much. All right, coming up in the morning sprint, we're going to let you know what you need to know before the polls open up in just over 10 minutes.
But first, we want to say happy birthday to Teddy and all the little kids turning 3 today on this April 4th. Thanks for celebrating with us here on News 3 Now this morning.
Sponsored by Three Bears Resort, Indoor Water Park and Conference Center in Warrens, Wisconsin.
Your family's year-round comfort is our year-round commitment at RG Heating and Air Conditioning. We install quality Trane equipment and service all brands so your home's furnace and AC will perform their best year-round. RG Heating and AC.
Get Breyer's ice cream, just $2.88. And Chips Ahoy, just $1.88 at Hy-Vee. That's Breyer's ice cream, just $2.88. And Chips Ahoy, just $1.88. Tuesday only, and only at Hy-Vee.
There were severe health complications with my baby when I was pregnant. We made the decision to have an abortion so our daughter wouldn't suffer. Dan Kelly doesn't believe that women should even have that freedom. On the Supreme Court, Dan Kelly will uphold the criminal ban on abortion. Someone you love might struggle with a pregnancy like I did. And that's why we can't have an extremist like Dan Kelly on the Supreme Court.
Now's the time to save on big projects. Hurry into Menards for 11% off everything. Get 11% off easy flooring updates for your home. Find your style and save 11% on Patriot Lighting. Transform your home with 11% off new Mastercraft doors. Or go even bigger and get 11% off a new kitchen. Don't miss out. There's no limit to what you can save with 11% off everything at Menards.
Save big money at Menards.
An ally of former President Trump is one step closer to joining the Wisconsin Supreme Court.
Dan Kelly. He worked for a radical anti-abortion group, and on the court could uphold Wisconsin's abortion ban. No exceptions for rape or incest. And Kelly not only opposed background checks on all gun sales, he wrote the court decision making it easier for dangerous people to carry guns in public. Banning abortion, putting our communities at risk. Dan Kelly is too extreme.
Wow, would you look at that?
It's beautiful.
You even remember the napkins.
Wow. That's our boy.
So proud.
There's a deal for every sunrise at McDonald's. Try one of our tasty bagel sandwiches like the steak, egg, and cheese bagel, sausage, egg, and cheese bagel, or bacon, egg, and cheese bagel.
There were severe health complications with my baby when I was pregnant. We made the decision to have an abortion so our daughter wouldn't suffer. Dan Kelly doesn't believe that women should even have that freedom. On the Supreme Court, Dan Kelly will uphold the criminal ban on abortion. Someone you love might struggle with a pregnancy like I did. And that's why we can't have an extremist like Dan Kelly on the Supreme Court.
Get Breyer's ice cream, just $2.88. And Chips Ahoy, just $1.88 at Hy-Vee. That's Breyer's ice cream, just $2.88. And Chips Ahoy, just $1.88. Tuesday only, and only at Hy-Vee.
At RG Heating and Air Conditioning, our promise to you is 100% satisfaction guaranteed. Guaranteed service, repairs, and replacements. Installing quality Trane equipment. RG Heating and AC. We'll always treat you like family. Guaranteed.
Get your tickets before they're gone. Visit MidwestHorseFair.com.
6:52, time for the morning sprint.
Today's election day. Josh Briner is live at the polls just before they open. Hey, Josh.
Hey guys, good morning. 8 minutes until polls open across the state of Wisconsin. You'll have until 8 o'clock tonight to cast your ballot. Two key races we're following here. First, the race for Madison mayor, who will be the next mayor for the next 4 years, and of course that highly contested Wisconsin Supreme Court race. We're also going to be looking at the weather today. That could have an impact at the polls. Local elections officials say that they are monitoring that as well, and if any polling locations are closed today due to weather, they will be asking a judge and to appeal to a judge to have that voting expanded. So stay tuned to that if we see those severe storms later on today. Back to you.
Josh, thank you. Lots of folks have already voted here in Madison. Nearly 17,000 people cast their ballots in person. Almost 36,000 have returned their absentee ballots. That's out of the almost 200,000 registered voters in the city. If any polling locations are closed today because of the weather, officials will appeal to a judge to have voting expanded.
2 men arrested in connection with a deadly shooting on the west side have been officially charged. Charles Washington now faces first-degree intentional homicide charges and is held on a $1 million bond. Jarvis Davis also faces charges in the investigation that happened on Tree Lane, including in the charges harboring or aiding a felon He's being held on a $50,000 bond. The 39-year-old victim, though, has not been identified.
A live look at the Trump Tower this morning, where the former president will wait for his court appearance, scheduled for 1:15 p.m. Central Time. The charges will be unsealed in the courtroom unless Trump requests the reading be waived. He'll be asked to plead guilty or not guilty to the charges against him. The former president plans a news conference when he returns to Mar-a-Lago tonight. Manhattan District Attorney Alvin Bragg will also speak following the court proceedings.
University of Wisconsin-Platteville officials in an email said that they're aware of an alleged threat to the main campus. University police, the dean of students, the behavioral review and recommendation team are all looking into it. At this point, the university is going to follow protocol and go ahead with classes as scheduled today.
Some new wins out of Wausau for the 3rd annual Cardboard Cup at Granite Peak. Contestants,
Fun.
Yeah, they make their own sleds here from scratch, generally from cardboard and duct tape, then put them to the test. From skiers to snowboarders to anybody in the community, everybody is welcome to participate in this one-of-a-kind event.
Yeah, kind of unusual to see all that snow compared to what we see down here. And we're talking about some severe weather a little bit later on going into the evening hours. We're in the 40s right now, 30s areas to the north. We've got a warm front that's going to be pushing through as we go into the evening. That's what's going to trigger some of these stronger storms. We have one round come through early this afternoon. Can't rule out an isolated severe storm, especially along the Illinois border, but mainly just rain for Madison areas to the north. Then we'll see our temperatures rise this evening. Then we'll watch those storms fire up out of Iowa, Illinois, and some of these may produce some isolated tornadoes, hail, and some gusty winds coming out of some of these storms. Here we're at 8:30. That'll continue through about midnight. Then everything starts to lift to the north, and then we should see temperatures in the 60s around midnight. So planning your day, if you are going to head out to vote, try to do it this morning because it will be dry at least through the next several hours up until about 11 o'clock or so. And then we'll look at some scattered showers for the early afternoon, more significant storms it looks like coming into this evening. And then we're talking about some warmer weather next week.
All right, Kelly, thank you very much.
Keep it here, folks. We'll have a live update from the polls as they open here in 4 minutes. We'll see you at 7:26.